All right, it's time for the Week 9 Best Bets. Let's see if we can't make a little bit of money. 1, 2 out of 3 last week. That puts us at 18-14 this season. Not great, but we're turning a little bit of a profit. Hopefully we can heat up here over the second half of the year. Starting on Sunday. 4 games I like this Sunday. Let's go through them all now quickly. Starting with the Atlanta Falcons on the road facing the Carolina Panthers. Carolina a 9.5-point favorite on BETDAQ. Now this number is a little high. It sits right around 7.5 in most sports books around the world. So I wouldn't be surprised if BETDAQ put another market up there, maybe a Carolina minus 7.5 market in the hours leading up to kickoff. So you will want to check back. But whether it's 7.5 or especially at 9.5, I do like the Atlanta Falcons in this situation. I think it's a good buy low, sell high spot. The Falcons certainly have fallen apart this season. An ugly loss last week to the Arizona Cardinals. And the Panthers do have it rolling, having won 3 straight. Carolina has an excellent defense, one of the best defenses in the NFL. However, the Carolina offense, I'm just not sure they're quite good enough to cover a number like this against a team like the Falcons. Even though the Falcons have been a disappointment, even though they're dealing with a lot of injuries, they still have an excellent offense. They're averaging 300 pass yards per game. I don't expect them to have a whole lot of success against that Carolina defense. As we mentioned, Carolina really tough on defense. But, Atlanta isn't awful on defense themselves. You think of the Falcons this season, and you think of them as having one of the league's worst defenses, at least I do, but they're actually just below average. 21st in total defense, 22nd in points allowed. The Carolina offense, one of the worst passing offenses in the league. They average fewer than 200 pass yards per game. So I think Atlanta's going to be able to keep this one close. 9.5, too many points in my opinion. I do like the Falcons in that spot. The next game, the New Orleans Saints going on the road to face the New York Jets. New Orleans, a 6-point favorite on BETDAQ. I am on the Saints here. There's a lot of reasons to like the Saints in this game. There's one big reason not to like the Saints, and it does have me scared, I'll be honest with you, and that is the Saints are a big public side this week. Everybody likes the Saints. This line has moved from 4.5 out to 6, and now 6.5 throughout Las Vegas. Again, it is New Orleans minus 6 on BETDAQ. It definitely feels a little suspicious. What's not to like about the Saints minus 6 here? That's what I'd like to know. The Jets lost by 40 points last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. They have one of the NFL's worst offenses. I believe they're 27th in the league in points per game right now, points scored. They're led by a rookie quarterback, of course, Geno Smith, who has turned the ball over 16 times in 8 career starts. New Orleans, we know all about their offense. They're 5th in points scored, 6th in total offense right now. What some people might not know is they actually allow 9 fewer points per game than New York Jets. The Saints only allowing 17 points per game this year. That is 4th best in the NFL. So, as I said, there's a lot of reasons to like the Saints in this game. The only reason not to like the Saints is that old gambler's instinct, the old better sickness inside of you that sees this and you think, that sound feels a little suspicious there. And then when you see the public all over the New Orleans side, listen. Bookmakers are not in the habit of giving away free money, and if the Saints cover easily in this game, this amounts to free money because this looks like an easy, no-brainer Saints play, and I'm taking the bait. I'm taking the bait this week. Usually I stay away from games like this or even get on the other side, but after going through this game repeatedly in my head, I think the Saints are going to cover the 6, so count me a square, count me among the public this week. I am on New Orleans minus 6 on the road against New York. Another game I'd like to talk about, the Pittsburgh Steelers going on the road facing the New England Patriots. A common denominator here, these 3 games have all been on road teams. The first 3 bets, that is, have all been on road teams. The 4th one will be on a home team. We'll get to that in a second. Anyway, the Steelers plus 6 against the New England Patriots. I think they're a good bet at that number. The Patriots have been overvalued this season. What's going on with their offense? I mean, we know what's going on. A lack of weapons at the wide receiver position, but they're getting some more weapons back now. Danny Amendola has been in and out of the lineup. Rob Gronkowski is now back in there, but New England's still 20th in the NFL in points scored. Even last week against the Miami Dolphins, when again their offense was a little healthier than it had been throughout the first few weeks of the season, they were held to 3 points, just 25 passing yards in the first half. They did wake up a little bit in the second half, but Pittsburgh has an excellent secondary. The Steelers 3rd in the NFL in total defense, meaning yards allowed. So I'm not sure the New England offense is going to have a whole lot of success in this game. And even though the Pittsburgh offense has not been good this season, the New England defense is regressing. And it's due to injuries primarily. New England was playing very well on defense. throughout the first half of the season, but now they just can't hold up after losing all the players they've lost. Vince Wilfork, probably the best player on that defense. Gerard Mayo, probably the second best player on that defense. Their best cornerback, Aqib Talib, has been in and out of the lineup. They do expect him to play this week. But more bad news on the injury front just a couple of days ago, or we learned this, the fullness of the news today, in that Tommy Kelly, the defensive tackle who had played well this season after coming over from Oakland, he has been placed on injured reserve. Now, that's unusual because Kelly practiced fully Wednesday and Thursday. He's been effective this season for the Patriots. He did not practice Friday. We haven't heard exactly what went wrong, but we have heard now that he's been placed on season-ending injured reserve. So New England really short-handed on defense. I don't think they're going to be able to hold it together. Now, Pittsburgh is not good on offense, so I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be lighting up the scoreboard in this game, but I do think they'll have some success. They're going to move the football, put some points up on the board, and again, I do expect their defense to have success against the New England offense. So I look for a somewhat low-scoring game here. I think Pittsburgh +6 is a good bet. Steelers have a chance to win this one outright. I think they're going to stay close. Last game I'd like to talk about, the Indianapolis Colts going on the road to face the Houston Texans. Colts a 1-point favorite on BETDAQ. I like the Houston side here. Now this is the opposite of the New Orleans, New York Jets game in which I said I'm on the public side. The public side here is Indianapolis. A lot of people eager to back the Colts in this spot. And hey, why not? Indianapolis, after all, the last time we've seen them was in that impressive win over the Denver Broncos. They've beaten Denver, San Francisco, and Seattle this year, possibly the three best teams in the NFL. However, the Colts not entirely reliable. Just a couple of games ago, they went on the road, lost to the San Diego Chargers, failed to score a touchdown in that game against San Diego's porous defense. They've lost Reggie Wayne now for the season. Wayne was Andrew Luck's go-to guy. I think that's going to be important, more important than people are thinking, to the Indianapolis offense. Houston has the league's best defense in terms of yards allowed, and it's not close. The Texans allowing about 25 fewer yards per game than the second-ranked team, which is Seattle. To put it into perspective, the difference between Houston and the fifth-ranked defense in the league in terms of yards allowed is roughly equivalent to the difference between the fifth-ranked defense and the 31st-ranked defense. Houston is excellent on defense. Don't let the point totals fool you, because the Texans' offense has turned the ball over a lot. You remember Matt Schaub had that streak of 4 consecutive games with a pick 6. So the point totals make it look like Houston is not great defensively, but if you've seen them play, you know that's not the case. And I think they're going to lock down this Indianapolis offense on Sunday night. This is really a circle the wagons time for the Texans. It's now or never for them. They're at home against a division rival. They're obviously not in a good spot at 2-5, but all is not lost yet, especially if they can pull out a win over the Colts in this game, and I think they're going to do it. Case Keenum starting at quarterback for the Texans, only making his second career start, but I was impressed with Keenum in his first career start on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs, who have a pretty good defense themselves. So I think Houston's going to be able to do this. Remember, Indianapolis has a soft run defense, 29th in the NFL against the run. The Texans like to run the football, top 10 in rushing offense again this year. Arian Foster a little banged up. Ben Tate has been banged up for a couple of weeks, but Foster is probable. I think the Texans are going to be conservative offensively. I think they're going to run Foster right at the Indianapolis Colts defense. And I think the Texans are going to play great defensively. And I think they're going to pick up a win on Sunday Night Football. There you have it. Those are my 4 games. I like Atlanta plus 9.5 against the Carolina Panthers. New Orleans -6 against the New York Jets. Pittsburgh +6 against the New England Patriots. And Houston +1 against the Indianapolis Colts. I wish you best of luck in whatever you decide to do this week, just so long as your interests don't conflict with my interests.